Hi everyone, it's Hamza Khan, your fitness and life coach. And in this video, I'm going to talk about trauma, why it is so hard to overcome past trauma, and what you can do to come out of it. Now, trauma is something most of us experience at some point in our lives, and unless we do the conscious work to come out of it, it can become our entire existence. It can affect our health, worse come worse, turning into a disease. It can affect our relationships, quality of life, and work. I personally experienced a very traumatic event in 2017, and it has taken me daily work to come out of it. And trust me, if you do the work, you will heal and you will come out of it. By the end of this video, you will have some useful tips based on latest research and my personal experience that will help you move on and overcome past trauma. Now, the reason why it can be very, very difficult to overcome trauma is simply because we revise it and we replay the event in our head. It's just like a child who wants to learn counting. You tell him to revise counting every day. And the more the child revises counting, the quicker he learns. The same logic applies to trauma. When you revise that event in your head, it becomes a memory, a long-term memory. Now, each of those memories, the event, has an emotion attached to it. So, as soon as you think about that event, you feel pain, you feel anger, you feel resentment, you feel depressed, you feel anxiety. Now, these are all negative emotional states. Now, what happens when you're thinking? It produces an emotion, and emotions are linked to chemical responses in our body. So, the more you think, you produce the same emotions every time you think of the event. It produces the same neurochemistry in your brain and in your body. And this is a very interesting fact that research has shown, that the brain cannot tell the difference between thought alone and the event which is happening in reality. So when you revise that event in your head, the brain treats it like it's happening in that very moment all over again. So for your brain and body, the event is happening every time live when you think about it. So this is why it becomes part of you, it becomes part of your body and brain, and it changes your whole neurochemistry producing. Now, what happens over time is that you condition your body chemically into those emotional states, and this explains why it is so difficult to come out of it, because our body becomes dependent. It's just like if you take sleeping pills to help you go to sleep. The day you stop taking those pills, you will have a hard time because your body is used to it. It becomes dependent on those pills. The same goes with our past events. When we revise them, they produce emotions, and over time, we condition our body into those emotional states. So the day you start to try changing, oh, today I'm not going to think about it, I am going to make a conscious effort to do something different, your body is going to react, and your body is going to crave those same emotional states because you have conditioned it over time by thinking, revising the event every single day for a long period of time. And what happens? Your body and brain, your entire existence becomes that event, and over time it becomes your identity. Your entire day, your mood, your personality is shaped by that very event that happened in your past. So what can you do to prevent this cascade of past traumatic impact, and what you can do to overcome? So what can you do to prevent this and to come out of trauma? Number one is take your attention off the event. Because the more you revise, the more you're going to produce the same neurochemistry in your brain and body, eventually becoming your identity and your entire existence being defined by that event. Now, replace that thought with something more positive. I always like to visualize something in future that I want for myself, whether it's visualizing myself on a vacation, or visualizing something for my loved ones, and offer gratitude for what you have right now, and think about what could have gone worse. Remember, there's always something that could have gone worse with that event, and there's always stuff that you can be grateful for, starting from your health, your food, your relationships, fresh air, nature. There's so much to be grateful for. So focus your energy on gratitude, what you have today that you want to be grateful for. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is remove any triggers that might remind you of that particular event. Now, this is very important. Changing your surroundings. We like to live in the same surroundings which remind us of that event. And it can be as simple as changing music, any music songs which remind you of that particular event. It can be changing your house setting, it can be even changing your place, location, and starting fresh. Fresh colors, fresh light. Like, you see my apartment, I've kept it white and blue because these are healing colors, and I like to get fresh light in because they boost my energy and they boost my mood. So work on your environment, work on your surroundings, remove any potential triggers, because as soon as you're reminded of that event, it's going to produce the same whole neurological cycle that I've just explained. The final tip is affirmations, which seem to work wonders. Now I'm going to give you two affirmations which are very powerful and effective. The first is by my favorite spiritual author, Louise Hay, and she says, "I am willing to release the pattern in me which created these conditions. I am willing to release the pattern in me which created these conditions." And the second affirmation is, "I am free." If you do these two affirmations every day, 300 to 500 times, over the course of 21 days, you will start to see some incredible results. I hope this video was helpful and you're going to hopefully incorporate these three tips into your everyday lives. They will speed up your healing. They will help you come out of your traumatic past. Because here's the thing, if we do not make the conscious effort, past trauma can have very detrimental effects for us, for our health, and also for those around us. So we also need to think of our loved ones, because they can absorb and they can pick our negative energies. Lots of love, Hamzakhan.